Welcome back to our pre-debate interviews for tonight's Munk debate. Be it resolved, men are obsolete. We've got Camille Paglia. She's an iconic writer of a number of best-selling books. We all know them well. An academic, and I love this, Camille. You are a columnist with the Hollywood Reporter.
Well, I'm not a columnist, but I do write for them.
Yeah,
Yes, I run the gamut. Well, see, I began very interested in popular culture at a time when being interested in Hollywood or rock and roll was considered unserious. And there's absolutely no doubt I lost credibility in grad school at Yale because of my passion for movies. European art films had barely become known at that point.
Well, let's talk about tonight's debate, and I want you to expand on one of your many quotable quotes on this topic, and it's that, quote, "Feminism was wrong to pretend that women could have it all. It's not a male society, but Mother Nature who lays the heaviest burden on women." Unpack that for us.
Well, and this is the theme of my first book, Sexual Personae, which is that I discovered through a long process of search as a dissident personality who did not identify at all with my gender role as a child. And blame society completely for everything. Okay? But through the course of study and research, I began to understand that it's actually Mother Nature who is at this point in history women's greatest obstacle, because women still bear the burden of pregnancy and of nursing. And so I think that women's lives are those who want to have children, their lives are categorically different than those of men who can take on fatherhood as almost a kind of a social duty. It's a social responsibility. These are social acts that a father does. But a woman who is pregnant is involved, okay, with the fetus in a way that is absolutely primal, that is instinctual. There are biological forces that take her over. And oh my Lord, if you raise this issue, okay, the feminists today, 99% of them, squawk and scream and say that this is a conservative reactionary position. No, this is a realistic position, okay? And feminists are in a state of delusion, okay? And in fact, the feminist movement is losing ground the longer it denies this overwhelming fact of nature. Now, I believe, as the Marquis de Sade did, as Oscar Wilde and Baudelaire and Gautier did, my masters, that it is our obligation as human beings to defy nature if necessary. Okay? But one cannot deny nature's power and nature's existence. Universities around the world are now teaching this rot to undergraduates and to graduate students, okay, that gender is nothing but a fiction, an arbitrary invention. Yes, they would use the word construction, imposed, right, by oppressive institutions on people. And this is like absolute madness. Men will not know who they are. Women won't know who they are. Okay? I mean, and I support everything transgender, and I call my feminism drag queen feminism. So in no way am I coming from the right wing side. Okay? But what I'm saying is it's about time for feminist discourse to reappropriate biology. Biology must be a required course in every women's studies or gender studies program. The absence of biology, has produced propagandists, who have never even thought about science. So they're incompetents, So that's why we have such confusion, and it's also why most people don't care about the women's movement, because they can see how divorced it is from reality.
Mm-hmm. Give us a bit of a flavor for your talk tonight. You're an admirer of a lot of what men have built culturally. You think that this is key to how we need to understand civilization, not just in the past, not just today, but in the future.
Yes, right. Well, one of my most inflammatory statements in Sexual Personae was, if civilization had been left in female hands, we would still be living in grass huts. And no one thought through what I was saying. I was saying, in effect, that all of the greatest works of life-defying, risk-taking enterprises, all of these things have been the product of men. Why Sexual Personae presented the thesis that men have been driven to create because of their more ambiguous sense of identity. Women know who they are from the moment their menstruation begins at puberty. They don't have to prove who they are, right? But men always have to prove it again and again and again with every erection, with every sex act. They have to prove it again and again and again. So I'm saying that men are, heterosexual men in particular, okay, wandering the world, okay, finally finding the woman of their dreams, and it's just a vision of their mother, okay, and the sex act is going back to the womb, okay. There's a terrifying aspect, okay, to sex. There are all kinds of dark, imaginative forces going on beneath the surface that feminism kind of ignores. So yes, I have learned enormously from men. But one of my other sentences from that book is, there is no female Mozart because there is no female Jack the Ripper. Okay,
Well, explain that.
I'm saying that women cluster at the median point of the intelligent rank. Okay, they do not produce great geniuses, neither do they produce some morons and criminals and mass murderers. Right? It is overwhelmingly obvious. Okay, that the people who are picking up guns and massacring children and so on, that these are distorted fantasies emerging from the male mind. But it's exactly analogous to art making or to having this vision of going into outer space. Okay? I mean, every act of genius, okay, has its corollary, its parallel in an act of madness. So again, I think that feminism has been so concerned to deny sexual differences that it's painted itself into a corner. And the feminist movement is right now moribund. And again, why is it moribund? It's because ordinary people understand, okay, that these women have nothing to say to their own passions, their own concerns, their own desires. All right? And so it's time to bring feminism back to the real world, re-examine biology again, and be fair to men. Okay, enough of this. Okay, the negativity toward men,
But let's talk about that negativity a bit. I mean, male performance outside of the bedroom, but in the workplace, in our school system. I mean, something seems to be happening. Would you agree that maleness today ain't what it used to be? That there's maybe a confusion amongst men as to what their role in society is that the popular culture has created?
Well, I think educated men are definitely in a quandary. They want to be polite to women. They want to be courteous to women. I think that they are careful not to tell women exactly what the contents of their own sexual imaginations are, what they are, and so on. But I think I'm always listening to sports radio, okay, in the United States. There are a lot of sports radio stations, and there I hear the voices of real men, okay? I hear the voices of working class men, of truckers, of guys from construction projects, and so on and so forth. So I think that a lot of the lament, okay, about the condition of men is coming from white upper middle class women, okay, about white upper middle class men, okay? And it's about time that I think that feminist theorists start to become aware of despite their putative leftism, they must start to be aware of their own class biases.
Interesting. Let me end by asking you a question I've asked some of the other presenters tonight. Is there a man icon, it could be fictional or real, a director or writer, who you think really gets women right in their portrayal? Is there somebody out there that has their finger on the pulse of what?
Well, I mean, one of my favorite directors is, of course, Alfred Hitchcock. I wrote a book on the birds for the British Film Institute, and he has been notoriously pilloried as a misogynist, okay, by feminists, okay? Whereas I think he's got it right, okay? From my perspective, as a marginalized and always complaining lesbian, okay? I'm always complaining. Right? I really think that Hitchcock had an eye, okay, for beautiful women, sexy women's relationship, okay, to their bodies, to costume, okay, to self-presentation, okay. There was the kind of glamorous sexual woman that feminism has never taken seriously, has always attacked as being merely a pawn of male fantasy, okay. And that's not what I say at all. Okay? I am extremely interested in very beautiful, glamorous
And
women.
what, you see power there?
And so yeah, so I'm a great fan in the United States of the Bravo series, okay, Real Housewives, which is the executive producer is a gay man, okay, who Andy Cohen, who grew up watching Susan Lucci on All My Children. He's a great fan of soap opera, and soap opera was part of the lineage, okay, coming from Hollywood. The women's pictures, Lana Turner, the suffering, glamorous women, et cetera, et cetera. And I have said that the Real Housewives series, a reality show, is an anthropological study, okay, of the actual way beautiful, sexy women interrelate with each other. It's absolutely a universal. Feminism cannot take it in. Gloria Steinem said she wanted to pick it, okay, the Real Housewives of New Jersey show. That shows you the gap between her and me, okay, because I watch these shows, I can watch them 4 or 5 times, okay, the same episode, okay, and so on, right? And wherever I go in the world, I see beautiful women acting toward each other in exactly the same way, okay? It's women, okay, who appreciate how a woman dresses. Women dress for other women. They don't dress for men. What do men know? Men know nothing, okay? Men just say, oh, you look nice, okay? What do they? Women, okay, oh, you look beautiful, okay? The women immediately, the women assess and so on. There's this tremendous competition going on, okay, on the sexual level among high-profile women that feminism has been afraid to acknowledge, because they say, oh, then we admit women are bitches, then women are catty, women are this, women are that. But that's just too bad, okay? Yes, I do, okay, worship, okay, the beautiful, glamorous woman. Time, okay, conquers all, okay? Beauty fades. Beauty is transient. That is why we value it. This is what the ancient Greeks knew about beautiful boys, okay, and beautiful, perfect athletic bodies, et cetera, et cetera. So to me, feminism's failure to acknowledge that beauty is a value in itself, and that even if a woman manages to achieve it for a particular moment, okay, she has contributed something to culture, okay? And that's and thank heavens for photography and for movies that preserve forever the beauty of certain women, okay, at their absolute peak, whether it's Catherine Deneuve or Elizabeth Taylor, or the great stars of the 1930s, Jean Harlow, whether Rita Hayworth, at her peak, et cetera, et cetera. Okay? So my entire frame of reference is closer to that of the mass audience that goes to movies, okay, than it is to that of feminist theorists.
Okay. Well, Camille, you've given us a terrific taste of what we're going to hear tonight.
Oh, well, I
on
must
stage.
no, I have to be polite tonight.
Well,
oh, no.
too polite.
This is a Canadian audience, okay, and I must rein myself in.
But
okay.
don't do what Canadians do, which is start violently agreeing with each other. Okay, I'm counting on you to
All right,
take on your opponents. Look, thank you for watching these pre-interviews. We'll be back at 7 p.m. Eastern with the main show. Be it resolved, men are obsolete at the Munk debates on this live stream feed. Thanks for your time.